I think we are just starting to get into how crazy these EV cards are going to go once Prismatic Evolutions drops. Surging Sparks boxes are up to $200. $200. You could have bought these for about $100 if you would have pre-ordered these. So this is pretty typical of every single set. Only the Surging Sparks cards here are just kind of sped up dramatically, okay? We would normally see the cards come out at a very high peak, about 150, is very high. Then we go down to 136. So let's actually do a comparison here. Let's do Stellar Crown. What I'm going to do right out of the gate is show you how this market works. With Surging Sparks, as an example, feels like an anomaly, right? Like it's insane. Like, why is it so expensive right now? Well, it's actually not that atypical, and I will show you why. So Surging Sparks here, 2 months in, August 28th to the 30th, it's selling for $149. You could have pre-ordered these for about $100. So already people are making $50 profits per box. Then it drops all the way down, right? To what's our lowest here? $115. A great price to have bought this at if you had missed pre-orders. And that's fine to miss pre-orders. I know it's hard to get them. People are buying them up like crazy. I understand. But you almost always see a big dip right after the initial hype. So you wait for this dip. Now, you don't know how low it's going to go, but if you're paying attention to the market, you can see it get, 115 is kind of a decent spot to pick boxes up nowadays if it's like a newer set like this. So anyways, we dropped down to 115, and then now we're skyrocketing up to 201 per box, which, yes, is insane in this time frame, right? In this 3-month time frame, that is insane. But let's look at Stellar Crown, something that you can find these for $95, $110 at times. And what happened with this set? Well, people were buying them for $129. And again, you could have got these for $100 right out of the gate. And dropped down to $106. At its very lowest, it's about, what, $105? $105 at its lowest. This is a set nobody seems to really care about ever since Surging Sparks dropped, right? Here it drops all the way down to $104. Good, very good time to buy. And what is it at now? $115. So what you're seeing here is that this market is recovering, and it's going to steadily increase over time. And this is going to happen with Surging Sparks as well. We're now at a peak, but this is going to fall off, especially with the EV news coming, especially with the Team Rocket news coming. Don't bother with it right now at these prices, okay? Don't bother with it. Put your money somewhere that makes more sense, somewhere like Stellar Crown. If you can get this for $100 or less, you will make money off of this set. I didn't mean to really start the video off like that, but I just wanted to let you guys know, like, this is the way to make your money. This is the opportunity play here if you're looking to get into, trading Pokemon cards, selling Pokemon cards, or just getting your best dollar value for your Pokemon cards. Pre-order, #1 play, okay? Do not buy in that first, second, third week. Maybe 2 months go by. Most of these sets have been dropping down to about $100, $105. $115 was pretty high for like the lowest value of a Pokemon box, but that is because Surging Sparks has so much hype behind it. We're seeing kind of an elevated valley right now. That will not likely continue, but it just kind of depends on the set and the time of year. We have Christmas coming up. I'm not going to be slow and methodical by going through these. I'm just going to show you guys what's going on. Maybe you have an opportunity here to pick up some of these cards if you're looking at singles, right? If you want to make your money on singles or you just want to get them at a good deal. They're all falling now. We're about 2 weeks into Surging Sparks, and all of the values of the cards are going down because what is happening is all the sealed products is being opened, all the cards are being ripped, and the market is being flooded with these cards. Jasmine's Gaze down from $85 down to $35. Should never buy early into the release because there's always going to be more cards added. Latios falling down from $51 to $40. The Lowland Executor, $93 originally, down to $49. A huge decrease for a Lowland Executor. Lycia's Appeal, one of the stars of the set, $160. People were buying this like crazy. Let's see how many people fell for this. The FOMO train. 89 people bought it at $80. And now we're at 65, guys. This trend just happens again and again and again, guys. Like, don't fall for this. We're down to Hydreigon. He was 119, 120. Now we're down to 75. Starting to see the bounce on Milotech EX. And that's actually interesting to see. So if you're, you of course didn't want to buy it at $100. Now it's down to $80. and we're seeing a little tick up to $86, which is interesting. I don't think we're quite ready for a bounce as far as all these cards' values going back up, especially with the holidays coming around. Let's see this Pikachu EX. But it is interesting to see that Militech did have a little bounce, a considerable amount. You know, $6 is a good amount for a card. Pikachu EX, actually, this has been a big gainer, down from 45 up to 116 and starting to dip a little bit now. A rare instance of a card that would have been good to get early. Doesn't happen very often. It's not worth taking your time to bother and guess what it's going to be, because that's the only thing you can do is guess. Latias here from $220, at one point selling for $186, around about $201 right now. A lot of people lost money on these cards, and if you're holding, I don't think the value is going to go up for quite some time on these. Usually it takes a while for them to come back up. And here it is. Our Pikachu EX has started to fall off, $473, still an insane price, but at $583, $100 dip, that is pretty rough. People were buying these at $300, $300, $300. Could have sold at $583. Yes, of course, it's hard to time the market like that, but now it's down to $473. Should you buy it at this price? I think not. Something else to consider is that there will be lots of reprints of this set. So the price of these cards, the market that is holding these cards right now, is going to see more and more of these cards. So we're not done printing them. You will see this go down once again. The hype may come back once the sets re-release, but the price will go down as there are more added to the market, just how it works. So here's our Bulbasaur from Stellar Crown as an example of a card from the last set and how it's doing, right? So we had our giant peak. It was selling for $50, and then it bottomed out at about $30. And that's when most people were buying, because a lot of people know how to play this market well. Boom, boom, boom. So many people bought it at $30, and now we're up to $46. A great profit on these cards if you bought them down at its peak. So over the 6 months, it's fallen 16%, 50 at its peak there. It's going to fall off. We're starting to see Surging Sparks cards fall off. They will fall off for a while, but then they will go up, of course. And as far as like the value going down, you will see it go down when the reprints happen. Stellar Crown, I could see it having a reprint as well. It did okay. It wasn't a huge set, but I could see it being reprinted. And to answer your question, if we are in the valley, if we are at the very bottom of what these Surging Sparks cards are going to go for, I think the answer is no. Surging Sparks is just too wild right now with the holidays and everything. Like, it's really hard to predict. But Stellar Crown in August, then we had to wait all the way till September for it to hit its bottom. So we have at least a couple more weeks to see that kind of movement in Surging Sparks to know how it's actually going to play out. This is when all of the interest moves to a different set. So everyone is talking about Surging Sparks right now. And while everybody was doing that, the smart players over here were buying up the Stellar Crown because people will come back to it later. All right, so here's an example of rarity, okay? 21 of these cards in circulation at TCG Player. $1,444 for Umbreon. Absolutely insane movement here. Up 157% over the last year. You could have bought this card at $500 and you could have been selling it now at $1,500 almost dollars. You're almost making $1,000 profit off of this card. And what I think we're seeing here is Umbreon and Espeon are starting to take flight. And the reason is because the Prismatic Evolution set is dropping soon, and the hype train is starting to spin up. Our Greninja EX soaring up to $314. At its lowest, you could have got this for about $118. You know, you're double, tripling your money on this card if you would have got it back then. But it's hard to know in those times. We saw our peak here, right? 116, then it dropped to 118, and then it took off, and it took off, and then it dipped, and then it took off, and then it dipped, and then it took off, and it dipped. The card value does seem to always go up long term, okay? But these high value cards with not a lot in circulation will go up over time. There's only 42 here, guys. So there's 42 for how many people who are into Pokemon cards? That's why there's so much demand right now. Speaking of demand, Magikarp, let's see what we're at here with our near mint. Ooh, only 14 available. $188 to pick this card up. You could have got this card at $60. Some of these really rare, I guess you might even call them grail cards, are really picking up pace right now with the holidays. I could see these falling off a little bit once the Prismatic Evolution set drops. Once people start putting their money there, once they start putting their money towards the Team Rocket set, I could see these taking a little dip. But with such few quantity available, I could also just see these continuing to go up, up, up. I hope this video gave you a little more information about how the market's working. If you did find it useful, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.